Now that we have Unity 3D installed on our computer, we're ready to start using it. So it should have put a shortcut on your desktop. So you're just going to double click it to open. And every time you open up Unity, it's going to ask you what project that you would like to work in. This is our first time, so we're going to start a brand new project. So it opens up for us the last project we worked on. So this was something that I had open before. You're probably going to get one that asks for what project to open. So I'm going to go up here to File, and I'm just going to say Open a New Project. So you probably get something like this when you open it. It's going to have Create New Project, or if you have projects already on your computer, it will be able to show a list of those that you can open up. Like I've got several that I've worked on here over the last little bit, and so I could choose from those. We're going to create a new project. Here is the project location. By default, Unity saves all its projects in your Documents folder. That's a good place to put it. And this last part here where it says New Unity Project, that's the name of our project. So it's always good to give your project a name that makes sense. So I'm going to call this one Exploring Unity. So that's the purpose of this video, is to get into Unity and start showing where everything is and what it does. Underneath here, import the following packages. There are packages, pre-built pieces of code, and other things. You can look through the list here, and we'll get into some of these as we go through the course this year. But right now, you don't need any packages, just the basic default things that it opens up in a new project is fine. So I have it named, no new packages. I'm going to click Create, and what Unity will now do is refresh itself with a new empty project. This is the Unity interface window that you'll be working at. Let's go through the different parts of it. Up at the top we have all of our little menu file tabs here. You have the file, which has all the things you'd expect to open scenes, save projects, open projects, all of those things. In Edit, you have your normal kind of edit commands where you can copy, paste, so forth and so on. Assets have to do with the different parts of your game, packages, and handling all that. Game objects, everything in your game is an object. Your graphics, your sounds, your animations, all these things are different game objects. And so this is a place just to create some game objects and to handle game objects. Components are things that you would add to an object, such as audio, for instance, different rendering settings, navigation type things. So those are all components. Terrain gets you access to the terrain editor. You can make your own custom terrain in here for games. If your game has a terrain, that's where you would go to do it. Window just gets you access to some different windows, panels, screens inside of Unity, so you can lay things out the way you want them. And of course there's a help section here. So this is a great place to go when you're new. You can go down here into the Unity manual, which will tell you all about how to do different things inside of Unity. They have a scripting reference guide, which we'll make extensive use of once we get into our scripting portion of the class, where it really just lays out how to do everything. And if you're not sure what commands to use, you can find it here. So those are the different things that are in this top tab here. Below that, you're going to see some different buttons for how to manipulate things. Little hand gives you the ability just to move things around down here in your view. This allows you to move game objects with a four-way arrow. This is the rotate tool, which allows you to rotate things. And this is the scale tool, allows you to make things bigger and smaller. We'll see more of that later. Right over here we have a play button, a pause button, and a step button. So as you're building games in Unity, you can actually hit the play button. It'll put it into the game mode, and you can actually see how your game will look and run in its finished state. And then you can get all sorts of feedback and test it out. You have some other buttons here that have to do with, this is display. There's some built-in default displays, such as this is 2x3, gives you your scene view, your game view, that's the 2, and then the 3 are these different panels, your hierarchy, your project, your inspector. There's several different ones in here. I tend to like the wide or the tall. It just depends on what we're doing at the time. We do different layouts, and you can make your own custom layout in here as well. Alright, so we have here now 2 tabs. We have a scene tab and a game tab. The scene tab is where you build your level. Think of scenes as levels. So we build our level here, and we can see all the different things that are in our level, move them around, position them, do all sorts of things to them. The game view actually shows you what it looks like if you were inside the game itself. So we'll look at that a little bit more later as we go through. You have the hierarchy panel. The hierarchy panel here is where everything that's in your current scene will be listed. So right now this is an empty scene. All we have in here is our main camera. So if I click on the main camera and I go to my scene view, you can see it's showing me right here where my camera is. And if I go to game view, this is what my camera sees. My camera right now is just seeing the default blue background that's in the game. There's nothing else in here for it to see right now. So go back to my scene view. The next panel over here after hierarchy is your inspector. And you can see when I clicked on the camera, here I'll deselect it, it's empty, there's nothing selected. If I select the game object, such as my camera, the inspector gets populated with all the different things that I can do, add, change, and see, all the properties for my camera. It gives me the name here, it gives me the transform. Transform has to do with where are things located in the 3D game space. Position X, Y, Z in the 3D game space. Rotation on those same axes. Your scale. And then here the camera has some special settings that you can change. We'll get into a lot of these as we go through the course this year. Nothing that we need to talk about right now. And then down here in all game objects you can always add components, and that just allows you to add more of those pieces that you need depending on what your game object has to do. The other panel that we haven't talked about yet is the project panel right here. The project panel is everything that's in your game. So think of the hierarchy as what's in my actual current level that I'm working on. Project is what's in all of my game. All my levels, all my resources and assets and everything are going to be listed in your project panel. Alright, so that is the basic overview of the different parts of the Unity interface. So the things you want to make sure you know are that these are all your file tabs up here. You've got some different navigation buttons. We'll work with those probably in the next video. You have your scene view and your game view. You have the hierarchy, which is everything in your current level. The project panel, which is everything that's in your game, the whole game. And then you have your inspector, which gives you information, allows you to change settings on each particular game object that is inside your game and inside your level.